Today we have a set of new Industry 9 wheels. These are the AR40Cs, straight out of Asheville, North Carolina, and imported into the UK through Line Equipment, who are literally just up the road from this. This is a mechanic's dream wheel set because they have schematics and parts diagrams and inventory literally just a stone's throw away. Let's get into it. So we've featured Industry 9 hubs on the channel before with their torch hubs. These are the new Solix road hubs. The big thing with this is 605 points of engagement at 0.59 degrees. That is tiny. There's literally nothing you can feel there. Super fine. Now, that's often criticised for carrying quite a lot of drag with it, and that's what they've really tried to eliminate, is all that drag. And to be honest, they've done a lot of that and also taken a lot of the noise out as well. So that to me is spinning better than some ratchet hubs. Very nice. So what have they actually done? Well, big thing they did to reduce some of the noise was reduce the circumference here and introduce another set of pulls. So you now have 3 little teeth on each of those pulls. They've also reduced the spring tension a little bit. In fact, I can probably show you because I have down here a set of the old ones. Here you go. This will help you with perspective. So this is the old torch hubs. That's what that used to look like with the big seal up here. 3 big pulls with quite high spring tension, and when you got this engaged, slightly louder, but you can also see a little bit draggier as well. Okay, now for me, Industry 9 have always filled a bit of a gap in the market. You see, in terms of aftermarket hubs that are really worthy of investment, you've got things like Hope hubs, which are probably the most value-driven ones. They're probably about £320 for a front and rear road hub from Hope. Perfectly fine, a little bit on the heavy side, dead easy to maintain. Like if anyone's owned a set of Hope hubs, you can pick up parts and you can maintain them yourselves with a hammer, basically. Then we have things like Chris King, which are pretty expensive, last a lifetime, really, really good hubs. They're about 1,100 quid. And then they have these from Industry 9s. These are about £660 for the front and back set. So they feel like they're in between those two things. And of course we have some crazy things on the market now, like Tactic hubs at like 1,300 quid. So these for me always felt like a good upgrade without being completely ridiculous. Now, hopefully you're enjoying a well-edited video again. Chris has been on holiday, so sorry for the last 3 uploads. That was me editing those. Anyway, Chris has just interrupted to say, hang on, don't we normally talk about DT Swiss hub? We haven't mentioned them in this video at all. Well, the reason I kind of haven't is because DT Swiss use a different system. I'm just building this one up now, and they use a ratchet system. So rather than pulls, to have this ratchet. Now, not famous for their points of engagement. There's about 54, I think it is, or 32 on other models. Anyway, this design is now being generally copied by lots of Chinese companies, and it's generally speaking a little bit more dependable. There's not as many moving parts to get clogged up with grease, but it still comes with a fair amount of drag depending on how much you maintain it. So if I just give this a spin, you can see there, also normally associated with a load of noise, but definitely not known for points of engagement. If I compare that to the Industry 9, now remember, for a pull hub, this has a lot of points of engagement. You can see running okay, but still arguably a little bit draggier. Why on earth would you choose a hub with more points of engagement? Well, generally speaking, people who ride very technical terrain prefer it. It just gives them more control. They can control where they put their pedals, where they put their power down even more. Is it important for a roadie? Probably not. For technical gravel, maybe. Definitely a fan favourite among mountain bikers though, so hope that helps. Now, there is a solution that you guys might not be aware of, but a company called Williams Racing Products actually make a zero drag DT Swiss internals. Generally used by sort of stunt riders because it means that you can turn your rehub into like a free coaster, but they are quite expensive, $379 for a few little components like that. Pretty cool though. Now, when it comes to the actual wheel set, they build with Sapin CX Race spokes, they build with brass nipples, and they also have a lifetime crash replacement warranty as well on their rims. Go and check the website out for details. Lifetime warranty against manufacturing defects, and they'll always help you out with crash replacement stuff as well. Really, really good warranty on it. So to my mind, Industry 9 have always felt like a bit of an investment wheel set. Not always been mad keen on the crazy stuff they've done with aluminium spokes, but when it comes down to just good quality hubs, built onto good quality rims, by a really good wheel builder, then it gets a bit of a thumbs up from me. Now, before I weigh them and get into the nitty gritty, I just want to show you one of the reasons why mechanics love Industry 9 hubs. One is because they have schematics for all of their hubs, so you can get on here and get all your spoke calculations done before they actually arrive in hand. So they have like all of your flange distances, center to flange, all the details that you need to basically do really good spoke calculations from. They also have full part schematics for all of their free hubs, not like Zip and other brands where they expect you to replace the entire free hub. They expect you to take these apart, service them, change the pull springs, change the bearings, everything. And there is parts diagrams for all of them. That includes SRAM XDR, Shimano HG11, Campagnola N3W, and Shimano Microspline Road. They also have similar sort of things for all of their hubs, every single part diagram laid out there with part numbers. Pop that into Google, you will find the part you need. They also have full instructions, and you do not need any special tools to service them. You can basically service these with a mallet and a bearing press. Pretty impressive really, and you can go through this. It even tells you exactly what grease to use. In fact, the grease they do recommend using is this Drummond grease, which is a free hub grease, fairly popular. We use it on a variety of different things. It's a very slippery, slidey grease, ideal for free hubs. So you use that on the pull springs, and you can be fairly generous with it if you want to sort of quieten it down, and then just use a standard marine grease like we use here, the Mobil XHP 222 for all the other parts of the free hub. So fantastic, you know, mechanics absolute dream hub. Talking of free hubs, this is probably the thing that they've really changed, is they now have a different bearing configuration. So if you imagine that's our free hub here, right next to where the wheel is, we have this bearing. These are all Enduro, I think they're all ceramic bearings. Have the low contact seal, the black one on the inside, and then they have like the high contact seal, the grey one that goes on the outside. So have this big 10mm double row bearing right here, right next to sort of the load bearing section of the free hub. This is held in place with a little circlip like this. Have a preload spacer here. Then we have that other ceramic bearing, again with the high contact seal facing outwards. And then there is another labyrinth seal on the outside before it interfaces with the end cap here. So weather sealing, tick. And then on the actual hub end, if I take this off, the XDR is exactly the same with that 10mm bearing. We have the little aluminium spacer here, which is again nice and wide. It's not just like some tiny little thing that if the bearings start collapse, it's going to start digging into the axle. It's a good wide spacering there. We have the ceramic bearing sat there again with the high contact seal facing out, and then this little black bit here is where they've moved the seal to, and we can just get a pick behind that and pull that out. And we have a full metal reinforced labyrinth seal on this side. Simple, so easy to maintain, love that. How does it stack up on weight? So this is the rear one with rim tape fitted. The quoted weight is 770 grams, and we have 791, so 20 grams of rim tape. I don't have the valve in there either. And then the front wheel, there is actually a valve in this one. Quoted weight is 660, and we've got a measured weight of 671, so like 13 grams worth of rim tape and valve. Now if you were to buy these hubs yourself and build them into a rim of your choice, you can only buy them with the J-bend flanges on them. This straight pull configuration is only if you buy it as a complete set of wheels. And you can see what they've done with the spoke configuration here. They've made the spokes very tangential, so they're almost completely lined up. And then on the non-drive side, they use fewer spokes. Now using fewer spokes like this means you should be able to even out the spoke tension a bit more, but there's only 2, 4, 6, 8 spokes there on the non-drive side. So talking of which, let's get this in the truing stand, seeing what a good made in America wheel build actually looks like. So my setup here is we've got a DTI set here, and we've got a DTI set here on the rim itself, and what we're looking for really is a 0.2mm run out. So if I was to set this to 0 just there, so either side of that line should give us 0.2. I'm going to do the same thing here. So this would be 0.1 in this direction and 0.1 in that direction. We've just got a tiny little bit just there where it goes a tiny amount over. And on the lateral, it's looking very good. Let's face it, it's perfectly true. And the really cool thing about this is that this wheel set has actually been used by the sales rep. You can see all the scars, and it's had the tyres fitted and everything, and it's still that true. That's very impressive Right, the spoke tension. Now these are using Sapin CX-ray spokes, so the spoke tensions are well and truly documented on this, so we don't need to use our tension meter for this, but what we are looking for is consistency. So we are at 15, 17, 16, 16, 17, 17, very good. So on the non-drive side, again with 15, 15, slightly under that one, that's like 14 and a half, 15. Now the reason that they're so close together is because there are significantly less spokes on the non-drive side than there is the drive side. So very, very nice wheel build. If you're the guy in Asheville, North Carolina who built these, well done, sir. Next up, let's take a look at the rim quality. Now, Industry 9 don't make their own rims, they definitely import them. They look like there could be a light bicycle or something like that. I don't know exactly the factory, it's not like they're going to tell me. Okay, first of all, you can see all those bits of yellow detritus. I'm pretty sure that's part of the tubular sealant because we've cleaned all that off already. These came with a set of tyres, and you can definitely see fairly clean in there. I don't see any sort of like leftover parts of the manufacturing process. Sometimes you'll see bits of bags and stuff, but it's not the cleanest I've seen. I've seen the Princeton wheels were probably the cleanest I've ever seen on the inside. There's a little bit of tentin and resin flow there. Let's try and get to a spoke nipple for you. There we go. So we're using the Squawks nipples so they actually penetrate further in, and I can't see any evidence of the threads penetrating beyond the nipples. That looks good. It also looks like there's a little bit of grease or something there. Always worth looking at a few, make sure that we've got good choice of spoke lengths on both the drive side and the non-drive side. Happy days. Oh yeah, look at that, really clean build. Yeah, it's just that probably is the worst bit of tenting I can see there. Not the best I've seen, but they are still £1,000 cheaper than a set of Princeton wheels, which is probably the only ones I've ever seen which are completely clean on the inside. Now, for comparison, I do have a Ven wheel down here. So Ven are one of the few sort of direct from China brands where you can actually buy just the rim and build it yourself. And for context, this is what this looks like on the inside. Obviously it's a lot cleaner because it's not been fitted up with any tubular sealant, but yeah, a little bit cleaner on the inside. So you can still see little striations there, but nowhere near as deep as on the Industry 9s. There we go. Hope that helps give you some context. Right. Now I know you guys are only interested in how do they ride. Well, I'm going to tell you because we're about to build it onto this absolute beauty from 51. This is the Assassin, their gravel model, and this is the one with like 47mm wide tyres. We've got a suspension stem on there, adjustable geometry. So if you want to know how that build comes together, please think about subscribing to the channel. We're going to go through the entire build, all the component choice on there, what the hell we do with adjustable geometry, and how do these amazing Industry 9 wheels work. Okay, hit that subscribe button, get in the comments, tell me what you think, and I'll see you on the next one.